What's up, folks? Derek with Reef Automation, and I am in Navarre Beach with my buddy Aaron Gray, and we get to see his beautiful 180.
Yep, 180.
So tell us a little bit about this guy. You've had it up for how many months?
It's been up exactly a year right now.
Exactly a year. He's got a lot of coral in here, which we'll do a little tour of it here in a bit. So tell us a little bit about it. Tell us about your lights. Tell us about your flow. I want to know everything.
Oh boy. Well, actually the total system volume is about 300 gallons. The display itself is 180. It's plumbed and all the electrical goes through the wall into a room that sits back here where I have a frag tank and all the electrical cabinet. I run it's a Pro Clear tank with an acrylic aluminum stand. I also have a Pro Clear sump underneath it. It's been up for a year. It's never had a water change, never had the display cleaned, and never had the sump cleaned.
Terrific.
I run an algae scrubber on it, and then I also use Max Spec Nanotech spears, whatever they are.
Okay. And what's your skimmer?
Skimmer is a Reef Breeders type. Coral box is what it's called.
Okay. Looks like you got, is that a Reef Octopus return pump?
The Varios 6, or Varios 4.
Yep.
I run a Varios 4 that runs this tank, and I have another Varios 4 plumbed external over here that runs to the other tank.
Okay. Looks like you got a vast locker.
Yeah, I actually set that up different. I don't use their vacuum lines.
Okay.
I take a float off. I use a coral box pump on that on the skimmer. So it comes with a little float that shuts it off if you ever get low water. Well, I use it in the skimmer, so when the locker gets full, it just shuts the pump off and it gives me an alarm that my skimmer locker's full. I just turn it over here, you can see it right there. Well, it's getting pretty full now, but it gets changed about every 3 or 4 months.
Very cool. And this stand and the tank all come together as one kit?
Yes, they actually have one of the nicest kits I've ever seen. It's the cleanest setup.
And that is separate. That's a separate
It
purchase?
comes with a glass sump that I almost kept because I actually kind of liked it better than this one.
Okay.
So the stock one that comes in their kit has got a just excellent sump.
All right, so tell me about this canopy. So you got the bottom, this comes with all one kit. The sump's separate, then this canopy looks like it was custom made from the looks of it.
Yep, I built the canopy myself. It's made out of PVC trim, so it wouldn't crack or warp. Right now, these legs on here are temporary because I recently just put it up and I'm waiting to see what kind of warp it's going to get.
Okay.
But it is free floating. You won't see the legs on it once it has some time to settle in. If I need to shim it, I'll shim it. But yeah, it holds quite a bit of weight. I've got it lagged with 4-inch lag bolts that go into my studs, so it's extremely solid. It'll hold quite a bit of weight.
What do you got about, looks like what, about 6 inches here?
From the water, I have 12 inches, and right here is about 7 or 8 inches up to
Okay.
this.
And this is not movable. It's
No,
bolted
it's not
in.
movable.
Okay. And what kind of lights are you running?
I'm running Reef Breeders. I have 4 of the 32-inch.
Okay.
The V2 Pros, I believe they're called. And then I also run their 6-foot high-octane lumen bar
Okay.
for my UV.
And what are you doing for flow? I see you got one in the back here. I see there's one here, then you got 2 back there.
Yep. And I like the SOW series JBOs because once they switch to sine wave, they're pretty reliable.
Okay.
So I just went with those. I've got 220 sitting on this end. I kind of run it like a peninsula. I have one set back behind the rocks that you can't see. So it's push and flow this way, so I get a really good oscillating type flow. And then on top, I just have a Reef Breeders to add a little additional flow up there. I'm running them almost about peak of what they can do, so I've got massive turnover, about 100%. About 100 times turnover, 120 times turnover.
And the flow, it looks like the overflow is in the middle, I can see, in the middle of the tank. And then you got 2 returns on it. And are you using just one pump then and splitting it?
I'm just running one pump with a manifold that runs this entire tank.
Okay.
And the tank in there gets its own pump that runs it, and I have a really big UV in there. Like I think it's a 55, 65 watt UV. So water return in that tank gets a lot of UV.
So in terms of the wildlife in here, what kind of fish do you have?
Well, I got a maroon clown, as you can see here. And then I have a blue hippo. And all the other ones are going to hike because they're standing in front. They're all kind of spooked. I've got a Scopus tang, I've got a couple of clowns, got a Talbot damsel, which I'm really a fan of, and then there's a blue sapphire damsel in here. I like those to keep my coral clean. I do have a fox face, I have a really fat mandarin, which is pretty cool. I think what else I got in there. I got a bunch of Molly and Miller blennies, which you can get locally here, sourced.
Okay.
They were to help out with.
Yeah, I've never heard of Molly Miller blennies.
Yep, I've got 3 of them in here. They get along good, and they keep an eye out for the aptasia and the algae.
Great. Awesome. So, how are you getting your nutrients down in this tank? I saw you had a algae scrubber and a skimmer. What kind of algae scrubber is that?
So for nutrients, again, I've never cleaned the system. It's never, I don't blow off rocks, I don't do anything in it. It's never had a water change. For nutrients, I use a Rain 4 made by Santa Monica.
Okay.
It's really reliable. I can adjust the hours up and down depending on what kind of nutrients I need to export. I feed extremely heavy, but being a bare bottom, pretty much all the waste gets blown with my heavy flow. Gets blown in the filter socks, and what breaks down, the Rain does a great job cleaning it up.
So I noticed you have a bare bottom tank. You have a lot of coralline on the bottom. So you said you don't do water changes. So how are you keeping up, how you have such low nutrients, keeping up the elements in the tank? What kind of things are you dosing? Give me the whole 9 on that.
Okay, well, as I told you, the nutrients are controlled by algae scrubber. I just like it because I can control up and down really easy just with the click of a switch and adding an hour or 2 of light, so the nutrients controlled that way. I do something kind of outside of the normal realm for the trace elements. Right now I use Aquaforce 123, and I'm dosing about 340 milliliters of each part right now. So
wow.
Quite a bit. I use the BRS pumps because they're extremely reliable, and I'm dosing a lot. So, and then I also use AcroPower. So I'm dosing about 30 milliliters of AcroPower every day. But it keeps up, and as you've seen, my ICP came back, and pretty much everything was exactly where it's supposed to be. I was in the dead center of the green on the ICP. So,
tell me about your automation. What are you automating? What are you running?
I'm pretty much a lazy reefer. I don't like to touch anything. After initial setup, what I do is I'm running the Hydros X4, run the X2. Originally I had the Apex on it, and I had 5 different modules, and I mean I had some issues with it, and I finally stepped out. I figured I had to try the Hydros, just maybe those issues would go away, and they have. I've had a lot of luck with the Hydros, but right now the Control 4 actually took up what all 5 of those modules were doing. And then I use a Mastertronic. It was great for months. I've seen a few hiccups in it lately. But I'm doing pretty good with it now.
Well, Aaron, thank you so much for showing me your tank, telling us all about your tank. It was a pleasure to see how much effort you put into this tank, and I'm glad that you're liking the Hydros, because I do sell the Hydros. And if you liked this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, and I hope to see you all soon. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.
Thanks, guys.